There was one time where they were crying when they were performing it live.
What?
Yeah. Fucking Joe Jonas.
Oh, mm-hmm.
That JJ.
I
Nothing
used
but
to
trouble.
model my life off of Demi Lovato. I got bangs when Demi got bangs. I cut my hair the same length as Demi, dyed my hair the same color as Demi.
Bangs are hard to pull off.
It was awful, and I made my mom promise that she would never let me do it again. Here I am with bangs.
The hairstyle I copied was Ashley Simpson's hair.
Ooh.
It did not look good on me. I had a mullet for a year.
No. Was it like the short layers in the front?
Uh-huh. And my hair is really thin.
It's so dramatic. Nobody needs a car that loud.
No. Welcome to the Holy Hour.
I'm Amelia Sampson.
And I'm Liz Ball.
And it is hotter than hell today.
Yeah, that's very fitting.
That's true.
For us and our brand. But
we've earned it.
It is painfully hot. Yep. It's painfully hot. It's made me really agitated. I got all wound up fighting people in Amelia's comments as per usual. You might hear some outside sounds like crows or someone blasting by on their speed racer car.
It's because we have to have the windows open.
Because the windows are open.
It's really...
I've had no relief all day.
Liz lives on the top floor, so all the heat rises.
I didn't plan ahead when I was like, I'm going to pick this corner apartment with giant windows.
But, like, we only really have very hot... We only have, like, a few of these. Yeah, so it's worth it for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And, like,
it's true.
For whatever reason, they don't put air conditioning in any apartment or house in Washington.
For what?
They're like, well, you don't need it. They've said
Sometimes
that.
I want to be freezing fucking cold.
Right. And my air conditioning broke right when it started getting hot. And I have been an actual nightmare. I can't sleep when it's hot. Fans just blow a bunch of hot air around a room, even if you have the window open.
Yeah, that's what that was doing.
I almost bought one of those. Have you seen those Dyson fans that are...
The circle ones?
Yes. Yeah. They're like $600.
Yep.
Stupid expensive. But they, like, somehow create, like, an Arctic tundra in your room.
What?
Worth it.
Yeah, it does feel worth it.
Feels worth it. I might invest.
I might too.
Maybe we could write it off on our taxes since it'll make us more efficient because it'll be cooler.
Yeah.
We could.
And by then we'll be writing this off on our taxes.
Yeah.
Hashtag adult shit.
Hashtag successful adult shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, doing taxes. Writing off business expenses.
Yeah.
I feel like David and Schitt's Creek. You write it off.
Yeah.
He's like, but who's going to pay for it? No one. You write it off. That's not how taxes work. Well, I don't know. I like at the end when they're like, we can't leave the kids. And then Moira's like, John, our kids are practically middle-aged. It's like, yep. Yarp.
Yep. I identify. I have been hanging out with a boy a lot.
That's right. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to hear.
He doesn't even have a nickname yet.
I think I will recommend a nickname because our Kinky Katie guest group texted us that she had a dream. The three of us were roommates, and one of the guys was nicknamed Gray Guy.
Gray Guy!
Yeah. So maybe we could do that.
That's phenomenal. I feel like a more boring feller should have Gray Guy.
True.
I'm feeling like Gray Guy should be...
I'm sure we'll meet one.
I'm 100% certain I'm going to date a Gray Guy. I'm going to call this one Sprints.
Sprints.
I've been joking around with him that I'm going to make that nickname stick. I don't remember how it came up.
Does he run?
Yes.
What if he was Squints and you were Wendy Peppercorn?
I love this. He squints. He does have, his eyes do get really small when he smiles. He has a really big smile.
Cute.
Squints.
Okay. So his name's Squints.
Love it.
He's about 3 feet taller than Squints, but it'd be like that.
Do be like that.
It would be concerning if he was the same size as Squints, because then he might be a child, and we don't support that here.
No, we don't. Yeah, let the record show.
We do not support dating children unless you yourself are a child.
Amen.
Not if you identify as a child. If you are a child.
Right.
If you're literally a child.
Right.
Yeah.
Under 18.
Yep.
I identify as a child. Would not be appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm so hot right now. I couldn't remember the word appropriate. My brain is working so slow.
I'm so hot that I just feel like that bit was really weird.
It was a little weird.
It was a weird bit.
Anyway, so I've been hanging out with.
All right, strike that. Cut that. Cut that bit.
Oh my god. He is the one that I knew from college that I was talking about like 2 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out once. He was really fun, and I had a lot of fun with him. And then
you said, I know you told me this, but I can't remember if you said it on the pod. He was like kind of nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's weird because when I'm nervous, I like overcompensate by being like too chill. I was saying that as one of my red flags. I like kind of bro out.
Yeah, man, who you fucking? Tell me about
it. Tell me about your fucking, tell me about all the hoes you've been with, man.
You like any of them, or
you smashed?
Are you in love?
Have you smashed?
Nice.
Yeah, chest bump him in the restaurant.
Did you connect emotionally? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Anyways, let's shoot some rain dogs with the boys.
Rain dog. Vitamin R. This episode is sponsored by Rainier. One day Rainier is going to sponsor us, and it's going to be so off-brand.
They're going to begrudgingly sponsor us.
Yeah, they're already talking about us, so we might as well throw them like a case of beer. That would count as a sponsorship. Rainier, if you want to send us a case of beer.
Or seltzies. They have the Rainier seltzies.
Rainier makes seltzers?
Yeah, we should try them.
Rain dog seltzers. You're better at the barking. I'm going to leave that to you. So... Anyway, been hanging out with Squints. We've hung out like 3 times since the first date. Mm-hmm. I just want to be around him all the time.
I want to ask, do you think that he was nervous because he's nervous you have a podcast, he's nervous you are a successful content creator on TikTok? Like,
I think that I misread the situation. Like, he might have been nervous. I think he was nervous in a way that everybody is nervous for first dates.
True. Yeah, that's fair.
But since I've hung out with him a few more times, his energy is just up. Like, he's like me in that sense. He kind of vibrates at a high frequency. I'm not used to that from guys. So I think I was reading that as nerves. But I've hung out with him since then, and we've gotten so much more comfortable with each other, and he still vibrates at that frequency. So I think he's just that energetic. He is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Aww.
He's so fun to be around. We just we'll talk solid for 7 hours and
Amelia's got a crush.
I do. I don't like it.
I feel like you really like this guy.
I do. I don't like it at all.
I know what you mean. I'm excited for you.
Thanks.
I'll be here for when the excitement makes you spiral.
I'm spiraling about being excited about it.
Yeah, I've been there. That's why I said I'd be here for you.
Yeah, you're no.
You were there. You were there for me when I was freaking the fuck out.
I don't want to like somebody. I really didn't think that I would. I mean, he's hot and very nice, but I've dated a lot of hot, very nice guys. But I just genuinely enjoy being around. I want to be around him all the time. Yeah. And it's
he's got that
strange.
Je ne sais quoi.
I broke my no sleepover rule. Yeah.
This is a big deal.
I know. That was my first sleepover since, in, over a year.
And you stayed at his place?
Yeah. He was house sitting.
Yeah.
So we stayed at the house that he was house sitting at, and we had sex. And
nice.
I fell asleep.
Whose bed was it? Do you know?
It's a spare house that they have. It's some rich family. So it was nobody's bed. It was the whole house is a guest house.
Okay. I love that.
So it has a view of the water. It has a pool.
House?
It's
what?
6 bedrooms. I know. It's friggin' beautiful.
When Amelia hung out with Squints, she had dropped off my boyfriend and I at my place from a barbecue. because we're all vaccinated now, so we can do that shit.
Baby. Also, anecdote, loved seeing your boyfriend. Such a big fan of his, but I say that every episode. I just had to get my quota in.
He was so happy to be there, too.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm really glad I came. Everyone is so chill, and I really liked meeting them. So he was really happy to, like, hang out with people and see who my friends are. He's like, I don't know if I'm ready, because he had been skiing all day, so he's just, like, exhausted.
I was surprised. He got there before I did. I was like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, and we had stayed up late, like, talking and shit the night before, so we both were pretty, like, tired.
You guys were killing it. I couldn't tell that either of you were tired.
By the time we left, I was, like, on my last limb. I was like, I might fall asleep if we don't leave soon. It was one of those things where you're like, I either need to get drunk or I need to, like, go chill out at home. And I could not get drunk. I was like, no, I'm too exhausted.
I was kind of relieved when you said you wanted to go too. I was like, okay, I'm not going to be a party pooper. I was fucking dead tired.
Yeah, it was. I wanted to stay longer, but I was not going to last. He's going to be in the video.
It's going to be so cute.
What are you doing?
He just needed a moment.
But I'm excited for you.
Thanks. You were saying dropped you off when I was going up to hang out with Squints.
After you dropped us off, I drove his car to Molly Moon's, like, near where you guys were, and he was like, we should go by and see if they want to come with us. Okay. He was joking, but...
Wait, but, like, we would have.
I was like, yeah, we could crash their date. Let's make it awkward.
He would have loved that. He's the kind of person that I would be okay with bringing around friends, which is another rarity. The only other person I've dated that's been like that is Music Man, and that obviously isn't going to happen anytime soon.
Have you talked to him at all?
No, I'm not going to talk to him until he talks to me. But yeah, I went over there. We watched Hereditary. The house is 100% haunted. Like, when I first saw the house, I was like, this house is haunted.
This is haunted.
I didn't get a bad vibe, but it's haunted. So, he's just, like, really thoughtful. He just does really thoughtful things that are, like, stupid and small, but they matter to me because I'm, like, an acts of service person. Like, when we went to go to sleep, he found an extra phone charger and just, like, plugged it in next to my side of the bed and plugged my phone in. Like, didn't even say anything. He was just, like, talking to me doing it. I'm like, that's so... It's just shit like that that's, like...
That's how you know it's, like, natural.
Oh, my God. And, like, So we had sex, and then he came, and then he took care of me after without even asking. He just did it. I was like, oh my God, king shit. And I said that to him. I was like, that was like really great. And he was like, yeah, it wouldn't be fair for me to come and you to not come. Like, he was like confused why it was an oddity.
I love this. And I feel like our listeners know this, but this is always a good opportunity to explain something like this. Like, so often sex is like a one-sided experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
too often.
I feel like we feel that way like in our early 20s a lot.
Yeah.
Just like sexual experiences aren't as fun because your partner doesn't give a shit about how you feel.
Yep.
So this is clearly like a shared experience, and that's normal for him, and that's how you know, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean, like, it makes me feel like an equal participant.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time I'll hook up with someone and I feel like a vessel.
Yes.
And it's always bugged me, but it especially bugs me now that I'm, like, getting older and trying to date more intentionally. It's really starting to bug me.
Well, it's also shocking that people still behave that way.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's also really frustrating, because you're like, okay, you're like doing like woke guy drag by like pretending you fucking care about other human rights, but then when it comes to having sex, like, you're still treating me like a vessel, like an object. So, like, when you do get to have an experience with another person where, like, sex is not transactional, it just, like, feels so good.
Yes, absolutely. And I was so relieved because he really is very woke. Like, speaking of woke guy drag, like, he's very liberal and he says all of the right things. So for the sex to be so equal and, like, respectful, I was like, thank God. Because I've been with a lot of guys, Grapes was one of these, that, like, would virtue signal all over the place and talk about how great of an ally he is and da-da-da. And then just, like, not really show up in places that I would hope that he would.
Yeah.
Squints is just so thoughtful and caring, and he pays attention to like everything, you know. He remembers shit that I've said. So I got promoted at work, and woo, finally, fucking hell. Woo! And I texted him, and I went over there that night, and he had remembered that I ordered a dirty martini at the bar on our first date. So he bought like all of this really nice dirty martini stuff. He bought like Belvedere vodka, and he was like, well, we have to celebrate. I know. And it doesn't feel, he bought my merch without telling me. I just got the notification for it.
Oh my God. What merch did he buy?
He bought one of the Really My Guy sweatshirts. I know, Liz. I'm
so excited. And I like don't want to like tout my gut instinct too much.
It's always right.
But like I will say like this, because you didn't tell me a lot about him when you first told me about him, but I did have like a more excited feeling for you.
Yeah.
Like I'm always excited for you when you seem like happy you're talking to someone.
Yeah.
But I also think maybe it's just the way you talk about them that makes me like be able to tell that something is different.
I feel you're right. Like I feel so much more. It could be
a combination of both.
I feel very at peace about the whole thing. Like besides being a little freaked out that I like somebody, like I feel very like, I don't know, relaxed.
I believe this is a like Buddhism belief that like how you feel when you're in love shouldn't be excitement, or like, not to say that you're in love with this guy.
No, but right.
Yeah. How you should feel when you are with the right person is not like excited and like, you know, your synapses like going off constantly, but you should feel at peace. Like you're with the right people when you feel peaceful.
Yes.
And if you think 100%. About it, like, it makes a lot of sense, because other people like love the roller coaster and they can't really tell that they love the roller coaster.
Yeah.
But it's because the high can feel really rewarding compared to like that low of having, you know, love treated like a reward.
Yes.
Instead of just like unconditional and consistent.
Absolutely. Yes. And, like, there's also a piece of it that we have mutual friends. And so, like, I don't have to, like, I know that he's actually a good guy. Like, he has a ton of friends. Like, nobody has ever said anything bad about him. He's really close to his family. His sister is his best friend. Like, he's just, like, I keep trying to find red flags, because that's, like, the protective anxiety side of me of, like, okay, what can we find that's wrong with this? And, like, I can't find anything. There's going to be things.
I mean, you have to look out for yourself. Yeah. So it's just natural, especially, like, dating sucks. It's hard.
Fucking blows. Some tea about Squints. He dated my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe I'm like, oh, what is this tea?
We haven't really discussed it since I found out.
This tea is piping fucking hot.
Hot.
If, I don't expect all of our listeners to listen in order. Like, maybe this is your first episode. But, if you also found Amelia from TikTok, the way that her first TikTok kind of blew up and like gained a lot of traction is because she was talking about her breakup with her ex of 8 years. And I'm telling you your story for you.
Please do. No, it's honestly, it's probably better that you kick it off.
And I mean, like, we were recording when this happened. Like, so they broke up, kind of had this like on and off again. Amelia's trying to distance herself, experienced dating new people for the first time in her adult life. And he kind of like ghosted you. Mm-hmm. And the week before, you guys agreed to meet up and you hooked up, you had sex.
He made the move.
Yeah. And then he was saying like, I love you, and alluding to like wanting to be back together. And that's kind of what you had been holding on to the hope for.
Yeah.
And you know, we all hate admitting that, but
yeah, and I can admit it now.
When someone doesn't let you go and keeps like pulling you back in anytime you start to like have some semblance of like sense of self and confidence, like it's just natural because that person's familiar and they can see that you're doing well without them and they don't want that. Exactly. So, you know, this was the big one though. Like, you know, having sex with you and saying I love you and like talking about a future together, like alluding to getting back together. And then we're recording. We had shoot, and Amelia's like, he blocked me. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I tried calling him, and then like end of recording, she opens her email and she got an email from him. And it was like, don't contact me. Don't contact her. She never has contacted like this girl that he started seeing. Not once.
And I would never. And he knows that. He knows that that's not in my nature. So that triggered me more.
Also, like having been in the same circumstances, you're not thinking about that girl. You're like, okay, she's just there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're just projecting whatever fucking problems we had onto someone new. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're not really thinking about that because you're like, okay, she didn't do anything.
Right.
Like, she's not the one who is in charge of his behavior. He is. Anyways.
Amen.
This email was just like out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So cruel. And
very final.
Yeah, it was like, do not contact either of us.
Like, I need to move on with my life, and so do you. Was basically after he had been stringing me along.
I've thought about where my heart is, and it's not, and it's not with you.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, you don't need to be an ass about it. Also, like after he ghosted you, what the fuck is that?
And it was after he ghosted me. After I saw a picture of him and his new girlfriend together.
Yeah, and you were like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
So, fast forward, Amelia's on a date with Squints, and then they're having just, the conversations you have when you start dating someone.
Yeah.
Or, just casual conversation about, like, what are your past relationships like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he says, do you want to tell the rest of the story?
Yeah, I'll take it over. Thank you for that
juicy.
recap. I can't recap it in, like, a succinct way.
There's so many feelings involved.
Holy fuck. So he brings up that he was dating this girl who lives in the same city that my ex-boyfriend lives in. And it was, like, short-lived.
And y'all, I'm not from Seattle, and, like, no one fucking lives there.
Yeah. No.
Anyways.
No. And I was trying to be really nice about it. I was like, when I was talking to Squints about it.
There?
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's really pretty. He's like, okay. So
it's pretty.
He was like, yeah, I went over there once. Her parents got me really drunk. It was really embarrassing. And then, like, that was kind of it. We just, like, ended it kind of shortly after that. And I was like, oh, well, it must be really hard to date someone that's there. My ex-boyfriend lives there. And he was like, why? And I told him my ex's work history. And he was like, hold on, what's his name? And I told him his name. And he was like, oh, yeah, his girlfriend was who I was dating. And she ended it with me because she had an opportunity to be with him. I asked the time frame.
I love the way that you explain that. It sounds like she, like, ended things with him because she got, like, a job offer. Like,
yeah. No, I have this opportunity.
I have this opportunity I've been waiting for. It's my dream relationship, even though the past history isn't very great.
Oh, my God.
There are no raving reviews, but I think I can change it.
They don't look very good on Yelp. The Glassdoor isn't great.
The company culture sounds bad, but you can't believe everything you read. Anyways, it starts at minimum wage. But I have a lot of hope.
You get paid in exposure. They don't even pay you money.
You get paid in girlfriend exposure.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, if you work hard enough, they'll promote you to fiance.
Oh, dear God. They'll promote you to fiance.
Yeah, but you have to sleep with the boss. So.
Wah, wah.
Anyways. That was a fun little joke.
Oh, my God.
But so they put these time frames together. And
so I asked what the time frame was, and he said, oh, it was like May, June. We, like, ended it in June. My ex slid back into my DMs in June, and we hooked up in September. So when this was all going down, and he ended it with me over email, Liz, little gut instinct fairy, was like, I bet that he cheated on her with you. And I was like, I don't know, But of course he did, because he cheated on me a bunch. So, like, it was, wouldn't be, like, out of character. It's very on brand for him.
Like, the more I learn about this, the more we learn about this situation unfolding, it is almost exactly like mine. And
yes.
I'm like, maybe it's cosmic, or maybe, like, guys just do the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this behavior is just how they operate.
It's fucking gross.
Like,
I just don't know how you can...
I cheated and I feel bad and I don't want to get caught because I know I'm never going to tell the truth. So I'm just going to work very hard to remove you from the equation. And then he gets to control the narrative with her.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to be responsible for his own actions. He can just paint you as the crazy ex.
Well, that's the thing. I sent him like a 5-page letter through the mail, basically being like, I have to stop this. Did I tell you about this letter? I was really proud of it. It took me like a month to write. I like rewrote and rewrote. I probably didn't tell you because I didn't really tell anybody. I told my therapist.
Remember when you finally told me that you guys had been talking.
Yeah.
Because things were going south.
That was so bad. I was so alone in all of that because I didn't want to tell anyone that I was talking to him again.
Yeah, and because when you tell someone, like, this is how this guy treated me, and you are talking to them, you know that's probably not what's best for your heart, but, like, only you can make decisions for you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I wouldn't have been stoked, but I still would have, like... been there.
Yeah.
But I mean, also, you ended up telling me.
And I knew that
anyways.
too. Right.
Yeah.
I did. And I knew that. And I knew that, like, my mom would be the same. And I knew that
okay,
Katie would be the same.
Go do that. But I'll be waiting for him to fuck up so I can stab him in the ball sack.
Yeah. God.
With several tiny toothpicks.
Oh my
Just
God.
like an appetizer. Like an hors d'oeuvre. Little olive.
Oh my God, there are so many men listening that are just like
good
crossing their legs right now.
Good. Don't fuck with her. Your balls are gonna be an hors d'oeuvre. I'm gonna serve them to a sorority house.
Oh my God, I love you so much.
Anyways, continue your story.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
My boyfriend told me that Amelia he said, you're funny, but Amelia thinks you're hilarious.
I think you are objectively hilarious, but I'm gonna...
Thank you.
You know, I'm just gonna...
Catch me in Amelia's comments.
Liz has been... Oh, I also want to put on the record, Liz told me that she's proud of my clapbacks today.
They're very good. They're unbelievable.
That will sustain me.
I've taken a few of yours and thrown them at people on Twitter.
Oh my God, thank you.
Like, I remember one you had said, oh, come here, Grab. Come here.
Oh, they're fighting.
Oh. Well, let them fight. I remember you had said, hey, arguing an argument with a different argument doesn't help either problem. Or like arguing a problem with another problem doesn't solve either problem. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So we're like, okay, now we just have two problems.
Yeah.
So
cool. Congrats. Yes.
How are we going to work on this?
That makes me so happy. Honestly, it's an honor. You're the clapback queen, and that'll sustain me for the whole week.
It will.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm riding a high from arguing with the biggest fucking Florida idiot in your TikTok comments or the caffeine pill.
Both. I think it's like
get me through the summer heat.
You're at the apex of both right now.
Yes. And then this high from you catching your ex's bullshit.
Can you? Okay, so I want to put a bow on that because I could honestly keep talking about it for forever and I need to not. I
keep interrupting in your defense.
No.
And I just did it right now.
You're fine. This honestly is one of those things that I feel like I could just like take 2 episodes to talk about it because I'm so fucking mad. But I'll end it there. I am
we'll
very...
do a cheating episode.
Yes, we need to. It was very validating finding this out. When I first heard it was validating in multiple ways. When Squints first started telling me that he put this together, part of me was like, I don't want to hear it.
Did your spidey senses tingle though?
Well, so when he said that he was dating a girl there, I was like, I wonder if they know each other. I would have never have thought that it was her, ever in a million years. What are the fucking odds? Mm-hmm. But when he first started talking about it, I wasn't like, I don't want to hear it, da da da, which would like that would have 100% been my reaction 6 months ago. You know, like I didn't want to hear anything about what he was doing. I still don't, but it was very nice to know that I can hear about it and not spiral.
And I'm sure it was also like very validating and freeing to know that your suspicion was finally officially confirmed.
Yes.
Like you know the truth now.
Yeah.
he tried to keep the truth from you. He's probably still trying to keep the truth from her, but hey, we got a podcast.
Yeah.
So good luck keeping that secret, you fucking idiot.
Bitches. I know.
Not that we're like talking about this to expose him by any means. Like,
no, I've done so much work to make sure nobody can figure out who he is. But sucks.
She knows who she is, and if she listens to this, girl, you got cheated on. So.
Yeah, and he will probably continue to cheat on you.
He'll do it again.
And it sucks because
when people show you who they are, believe them the first time.
Amen.
I think I said that last week.
It's true. It's a good line.
I love how the sirens are going off in the background.
There's so many.
Cue Olivia Rodrigo. Wow. You got a lot to say.
That was really pretty.
Do you want to come up here?
He's auditioning for the next season.
Sing us your song. Come here. That is some piping hot tea.
Piping hot tea spilled today.
I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
You know, I was with my boyfriend when you were telling me this juicy gossip, and we were both like, God damn.
I loved how at the barbecue, he was like, I was talking about hanging out with Squints, and your boyfriend referenced another guy. He was like, oh, is this the one whose identity got stolen? Because it was like a whole thing. We'll tell that story another time.
I don't know how I forgot about that, but that was...
I can't believe we haven't talked about that.
Such a good fucking... Do you want to talk about it today?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that is
I feel
such a good...
Your recap of that whole thing would be...
Such a good story. So this is like, by far... I texted my friends who live in other states to tell them this story because it was just like so delicious and juicy and piping hot. So Amelia occasionally... I'm telling this story.
Sure.
So this all was unfolding when I was on my way to get my second vaccination shot. So sometimes Amelia gets text messages. This had to have been maybe only the second time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
It'll just be like, hey, we met at a bar or something.
Yeah, we had a class together.
And Amelia has Mr. Number, where it's $1 a month, and you can trace people's phone numbers.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. So the first time it happened, several months ago, she plugged a number into Mr. Number, and it said it was a Google Voice number. And I can't remember, did you reply and then he sent you a dick pic?
Yeah, that was basically the story. He was like, we had a class together, you gave me your number, but you had a boyfriend, which I didn't do because I was loyal AF in college. So I was like, this isn't true.
If like the only way you would give someone your number is probably for a project.
Right. And I took one business class and I knew everybody that I did the project with in that class. I was like, don't fuck with a bitch with a good memory. I don't think so.
Amelia's got receipts since she was born.
I stock up the ammo. And then he was like, do you like fit guys? And I didn't answer. And then he sent me a dick pic. And I answered. I'm pretty sure at your...
Look at the six-pack on this dick.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is... I have never gotten an unsolicited dick pic until then. Literally. Which is crazy to think about.
Was I home or something?
I don't know. I texted you and you were like, you like told me what to say. Because I was so like, what the fuck? I mean, when was that? You must have been home. Maybe you were at a wedding?
My memory's shit.
I don't remember the time frame of this, but I was basically like, leave me alone. This is sexual harassment. And then I never got a reply. So that was the first time.
So then this second time, she got text like from a Google Voice number. And then she's like, it was another time we were recording. And you were like, I'm bored. I'm going to entertain this.
Yeah, it was actually, I got it on video when I read the text for the first time. I should share that.
And it was like, hey, we matched on a dating app a while back. And then like Amelia doesn't give out her number on dating apps very often.
No.
Like at that point, she's verified a guy she's about to give her number to. So
right.
And she's like, this seems suspicious.
He said a name of somebody that I knew in college, very like vaguely. He was like in like a peripheral group.
Yeah, you knew of him.
Yeah,
like,
we had been in parties together.
Yeah.
And I knew that he had a girlfriend. So he said his name, and I was like, and it's a name that isn't common. It's not like John Smith. It's like,
Yeah, it sounded like a name from a movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, okay, did he think he was just making up this name?
Right.
So then,
I asked him to send me a picture. I was like, can you show me a picture to jog my memory? And he sent me a picture of the guy with the name that I knew in college, whomst I knew for sure was not tech. I would have remembered matching with this guy on Hinge.
Yeah.
100%. Because he's a gorgeous, gorgeous man.
Yeah.
Did not match with him on Hinge.
So then, Amelia basically caught this fucker in a lie.
Yeah.
And I can't... so... He sent a picture and it was like grainy.
Yeah.
Even my boyfriend, because he drove me to my appointment in case I passed out or something, we were like, he was like, why would he send this like grainy pic? And I sent it to him and I was like, hey, will you like reverse image search this? Because you can see like maybe the original source or something similar. So he reverse image searched it. Nothing popped up.
He's like the guy with the computer in Kim Possible.
Yeah. So I was like, we didn't find anything. And then I was like, you should message the guy who it actually is on like Instagram or Facebook or something and like verify. So that's what Amelia did. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh my God, thank you for showing me this. Like, that is not me. And this isn't the first time this has happened. And I'm pretty sure I know who this is. Mm-hmm. And then after some sleuthing, Amelia's like, well, who do you think it is? And then she was like, he was like, do you know this guy?
And it was someone that I had a class with in college, mm-hmm. who had been messaging me questions about anal a bunch before we had the podcast. I could almost understand it if we had the podcast at that point. And even then, these questions were they're
not appropriate.
No, they were very inappropriate.
Because also, if you listen to this podcast because you're like, I want to hear girls talk about sex, like, go fist your own asshole, because that's not what we're about.
No. It's fucking disgusting.
It's annoying. It's like,
super
okay,
annoying.
Yeah, we know you like sex, so like, go listen to some Audible porn. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Anyways. That's my own
nothing else to say.
Rant.
No, that's perfect.
So it was a guy who had sexually harassed Amelia before, mm-hmm. and has her phone number, probably from school or whatever.
Yeah, and I have his.
Yeah. So he's messaging her from a Google Voice number. She's verified it's not him. Meanwhile, she's still texting him, and he's trying to like gaslight you. She's like, "Hey, it's a little sketchy because I don't give out my number. So like, what's your angle?" And he was like, "Well, if you don't believe me, like, we don't have to, like, don't even talk to me anymore." Like, trying to make you feel bad, like you're gonna like pine after him.
Right. And like, I called that number from a blocked number at 1 a.m. to see if there was a voicemail, and then he texted me in the morning. He was like, "Did you call me from a blocked number at 1 a.m.? Because if you did, then we can just leave it here and I'll delete your number." I'm like, whoa, dude, way to look fucking guilty.
Yeah, like, okay, psychopath,
chill out.
So she basically has this guy like backed into a corner and then just unleashes on him like, I know this is a Google Voice number. I know this is not the guy who you're saying you are. Mm-hmm. And then the guy who it actually is that Amelia was messaging back and forth with on Instagram, he also went to the guy and was like, "This is your last time fucking doing this," like pretending to be me, because I guess he's done this multiple times.
He sent me all of these screenshots of other instances that this guy has messaged people, and it was all stuff about anal and like asking like the same questions that the original number that texted me months ago, like, do you like fit guys, like shit like that. It's the same guy. And so he sent him that long text that was like, "I'm going to call the cops." I don't think he's ever going to fucking call. You know what I mean? But just to scare him.
Yeah.
I'm going to call the cops if you keep doing this, da-da-da. And I messaged him at the same time, and I was like, hey, Liz also wrote this text for me. It was basically like, I really hope that you get help, like, because this is sad. Was basically like the gist
not
of the
even
text.
Just like, it's sad. Like, this is not normal behavior.
No, yeah.
This is it. it's not like it's victimless either. Like, you're hurting so many people in the process.
Especially the guy you're pretending to be.
Yeah. Well, and he's hurting himself the most.
Yes.
And it's just like, what are you gaining from this? And why won't you stop and realize, like, what you're doing is not normal or okay? And it's not victimless.
Yeah.
So, like, when I think about it too, it's like, okay, I understand if you're like frustrated with dating and you like, I can't even make excuses for this guy, you know, but I can understand, like, if you have a big crush on someone and you're like, I just want to talk to them. But that's not what he was doing.
No.
He is trying to, like, trick women into talking to him so he can sexually harass them and send them pictures of his dick. Like,
and it wasn't even his dick.
What's the end game there? It's not his dick.
No.
Whose dick is it?
Oh, probably somebody he just found.
Like, for what?
I don't know. I mean, like, I've never seen this guy's dick, but the body didn't match.
I feel like it was probably to get women to send him nudes.
Oh, for sure. So when I called him out for being, like, I'm like, I know the actual guy that you're pretending to be, and I know that this isn't him. I lied. I'm like, I have this guy's actual number. I didn't, but I knew it wasn't him.
It wouldn't have been hard for you to get it.
No.
Like, you were already talking to the real guy.
Right.
And you had already traced the number back to a Google Voice number.
Right. And the voicemail was like, you've reached a Google Voice number. I'm like, you need to do better at being a catfish. So he, like, this is sad. But he was like, no, you're right. I'm so sorry. I was just nervous. I met you at an audition. And
comes up with another lie.
Yeah, he was
you
like...
You catch him, you know who he is, but then comes up with some other fake lie.
He was like, I'm a tall, dark, and handsome Jewish guy from an audition that you met, like, back before the pandemic started. I'm like, if you were a tall, handsome Jewish man, why are you pretending to be this person that I went to college with? That doesn't line up. This is strange behavior all around to double down on the lie. And then he came back and was like, I'm so sorry, I'm going to get help, da-da-da. And that's what he said to the guy that he was pretending to be as well. And I sincerely hope that he does. This is sad behavior. It's sad.
It's
all around for everyone involved.
It's icky, and can you name a single woman who would do shit like this?
I watch a lot of Catfish, so, but like, I don't know any personally.
Someone you've interacted with.
Never.
Like I thought about that experience that you had, and then I thought about, like, my fucking ex-boyfriend who's married and has a newborn baby and is spending his free time making fake accounts to harass me from.
Yes.
And I'm like, I haven't thought about you in 6 years. Like, what?
Yeah. Right.
For what?
I just, like, I can't even imagine. I think that the angle that I'm coming from with empathy, I mean, if he wasn't hurting this person that he was pretending to be in the process, then I think I would have a lot more empathy. If he was, like, taking, like, a fake identity on, then I would have more empathy. I'm pissed because he's hurting this guy that has a girlfriend, and he's fucking with a lot of very innocent women in the process.
He's hurting he's hurting this guy.
Yeah.
But I would argue he is hurting women more because he is trying to get something intimate from them.
Yes.
That they otherwise would not consent to do.
Totally. And luckily, nobody's falling for it.
Also, just, like, porn is free, buddy. Mm-hmm. Go sign up for someone's OnlyFans. Give them your money.
Yeah.
Give them a few bucks every month and you'll get some fancy special nudes, which is what you clearly want.
Yep.
But, I mean, like, I can't diagnose someone, but I don't have, like, sure, I can try and be empathetic, but I'm not going to be. I think this is fucked up.
It is fucked up. And I need to work on not being empathetic toward people that are problematic because I feel sorry for him. I'm like, fuck, that fucking sucks that you are in such a place that you feel like you have to do this. Like,
that's where it's hard because you, like, I know what you mean. Like, I feel that way clapping back to people online too, but I'm like,
they have to learn.
You're saying something dumb and it hurts other people, and I can't just be a witness. Like,
yeah. I mean,
that's already a problem. Anyways,
empathy can enable people, and that's where I have a problem with it. Like,
you need to draw a line. You need to have boundaries, and women have been empathetic and let things go for far too long.
Way too long. You're so right. And that's, like, really where I had to, like, the text that you composed for me to send to this guy being like, you've got to pull it together was basically the gist of the message.
Yeah, this isn't normal and it's harmful.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have been able to write something like that because I think, honestly, watching so much catfish has been detrimental because it's always something really fucking sad why people are doing that.
But they need to be confronted.
Yeah, they have to be. They have, because he would have kept doing this. 100%.
I don't want to pin this on men because I do think that more often men do this type of shit, but I just want to know why. Like, I would love to talk to someone who does some shit like this and be like, what goes through your head that you continue to do this?
Yeah.
Like, I've totally had a burner account to go, like, creep on some other people because you're like, oh, I don't want to accidentally like their picture and they find out I was creeping on them.
Right.
That's why I had a burner account.
Yeah.
But I've never, like, gone to the lengths to pretend to be another person and then, like, go harass someone who has upset me or whatever other fucking reason. Like,
Yeah.
I've never even, like, considered taking it that far.
Yeah.
And it's just, what happens in your brain? That you're
That's
like,
the thing.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Completely insane thing.
And people will keep it up for years, too. Like, people on Catfish will talk to somebody for, like, literally 10 years, pretending to be somebody that they're not.
At what point do you, like, truly stop and think about what you're doing and, like, think, like, I know this isn't okay, but I'm going to keep doing it? I don't know.
It just, like, it gets to
Maybe
a
I'll
point,
never understand it.
I mean, I don't think that we can, but, like,
I can't understand the level of being so buried underneath my own shame that I blind myself to knowing what is normal and what is not.
And thank God.
And what is harmful and what is not. Like, putting my ego and my desires above other people's actual lives and emotional state, and
yeah,
I don't know.
It's so from what I've
I guess
from
what's lacking is they don't have empathy.
Well, I think that that's the case for a lot of these situations. I mean, like, so there's in my extensive catfish research.
You might be a sociopath.
Oh my God.
If you don't have empathy.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm
but
not a doctor.
a lot of these people on Catfish are, I think where my empathy is coming from for him is a lot of it is sourced from either a place of hurt and anger or a place of loneliness and not feeling good enough in who they are is a lot of the time where it comes from. Like, I just wanted to get online and escape and not be myself for a little bit. Or, like, I just needed to get online and get payback for being hurt by all these people all these years. I've never had anybody that loved me, not even my parents, like, like, all of this stuff. And so from that standpoint, I get it, but I don't excuse it. Like, it's not okay, but I get it.
Yeah.
And also, I have been so hurt and sad and depressed, and I've never considered pretending to be somebody else.
Yeah.
So I just...
That's like when people use mental illness as an excuse for gun violence, but there are, like, billions of other people with mental illnesses who don't.
And it stigmatizes
shit like that.
mental illness because of that.
Yeah.
Period. I don't know. So anyway, it's like, I know it's fucking. It's just not. I'm in a weird place with the whole thing. I'm glad that he got called out, and I'm glad that the guy that he
deserve your empathy.
He doesn't.
You can understand.
Yeah,
but
I don't
he
empathize.
Does not deserve
that's
anyone's
the thing.
empathy.
That's the difference. You can understand without empathizing, and that's a very fine line. And it's right now. It's like at no point did I think that this was okay, and that's the difference between empathy and understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a weird fucking situation.
And the roller coaster was thrilling, but it is one of those circumstances where, like, you responding made me anxious because I was, like, worried for your safety. This is where my inner mom comes in. Like, I notice, like, I become more and more like my mom the older I get because I'm like, who is that? Who are you talking to? What is that? Don't reply to them.
Right. Yeah.
Stop that.
Yeah.
Put that down.
And I need that reminder. I was actually talking to twins
I'll
about
put
that.
my own safety at risk, but when it comes to anyone else, I'm like, no,
I'm
no,
the
no, no,
same
no.
way. And I was telling Squints, I was like, it's good because like Liz keeps me in check about all of this stuff because I am so hypervigilant. But when shit like this happens, my safety isn't what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, you're going to risk your own safety.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, come at me.
Yeah.
I'll tase you.
And I need to be reminded that like, no, Amelia, don't. You have never been in a fight. You would lose.
I actually started sleeping with my taser by my bed.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
Got to keep it close by.
'Cause since I've been on Prozac, I don't sleep with a knife under my pillow anymore. That's a big step.
So we're going to move into the sex fact of the week.
Are you already recording?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Sex fact of the week, and Liz is reading it this week. Hey.
So a couple weeks ago, I had mentioned that I was suspicious maybe I had endometriosis because I get like really bad period cramps and like sometimes sex is extremely painful. Like it is dependent on a lot of things. So I was like, this could be aligned with endometriosis, especially considering my adult acne. And so a very amazing listener who I need to respond to sent me like such an informative message on Instagram. And this is why, like, I don't know, it's just incredible that like so many hot, smart ladies listen to us.
Such an honor.
And want to contribute their hot smartness to the conversation. So this is what this user had sent me, and everything's anonymous, otherwise I would totally give her credit. So I just want to keep people's privacy respected. Anyways, so she said, all things endometriosis, I'm here to help. Currently listening to the Holy Hour episode where you questioned if you have endometriosis. You're probably being flooded in DMs on this, but regardless, I suffer from endometriosis and wanted to contribute insight. Heavy bleeding and extremely painful cramps are definitely symptoms. Some women won't have as bad of cramps, lucky bitches. But you should absolutely talk to your gyno about it. Unfortunately, diagnosis isn't easy, as the only true way to diagnose someone is through a surgical procedure called laparoscopy. Laparoscopy. It's a tiny little camera that goes in your pelvic floor and abdomen looking for the location of the diseased tissue. My doctor has said she found it latched onto places like the belly button, liver, and intestines in other patients. Yeah, so this endometriosis.
I didn't know
Don't be fucking around. Mine happens to be on top of both my main nerves on my pelvic floor, which makes sense why I can't walk when I'm having a period and literally need Vicodin to get through it without vomiting. If endometrial tissue is found, they can cauterize it with that same tool. They likely won't be able to zap all the tissue, and it's never a guarantee you'll get any relief from the procedure, but some women do have pain relief. Some only need the one procedure while others need several. It's a progressive disease, unfortunately. The other thing I heard you mention on the podcast is you have had IUDs. Certain IUDs are more well suited to treating symptoms of endometriosis than others, like Mirena, which I have. Endometriosis is a little freaky and very intimidating, but I hope this helps.
Holy hell, that's so informative.
Yeah, it was like incredibly helpful, and now I know what kind of questions to ask my doctor.
Yeah.
And like hearing it firsthand from someone somehow makes it less scary.
Yes.
So if there are other listeners out there who question if they have endometriosis, hopefully a fellow listener can help you too.
Yeah.
I feel less intimidated now. Like, do you ever, like, I feel like I have imposter syndrome about my body sometimes.
In what way?
Like, when you're like, am I being dramatic about my period? Or something like that.
I have so much to say about that.
Or, like, maybe I'm just being dramatic, or I don't know.
It's because we are told so many times, again and again and again, that we're being dramatic when we're feeling types of things. How many gynecologists have you been to that have made you feel like you're being ridiculous for feeling a type of way?
Surprisingly, only one.
And that's one too many.
Yeah, it should be 0.
Yeah. Hasn't it been 2? Didn't you go to the one that tried to...
Oh, I went to, those were like walk-in clinics
and that's
too.
fucked up because that's a lot of people's healthcare are these
one
walk-in
person
places.
One woman was officially my gynecologist, and when she put my IUD in, like, looked at me like I was crazy for being in a shitload of pain.
I have a friend who got the Nexplanon, and she put it underneath her muscle, and and she was like, that doesn't feel right, and the gynecologist was like, it's fine, it's supposed to hurt, and she had to get surgery to get it removed. And it's like,
the amount of times I've heard that people have had to have surgery to get it removed is so much higher than I've heard, like, something positive. Like, yeah, my gynecologist did this, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing, too, about having diagnosed anxiety is whenever you have anything wrong with your body, that's the first thing they go to. You have anxiety. And there are a lot of somatic effects of anxiety.
Obnoxious.
But every time I've had stomach problems, every time my period has been weird, it's always like, you're just stressed. You just have anxiety. No. What if it's not? And a lot of the time it is. But what if it's not?
Yeah.
Then what?
And you're paying them, so...
Look at what I'm asking you to look at. There's so many stories of
and
people...
giving you money. The worst thing is you have to do your job about it.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's so fucked up. So anyway, I'm so glad that she wrote in.
I'm going to be in debt for you to do your job, so just fucking do it.
Yeah. Seriously. And you're so right. Hearing it firsthand from someone makes it a lot less scary than, like, reading it on, like, Mayo Clinic, because that's so, like, worst case scenario a lot of the time.
Jump to the extreme. Because, of course, when you look up stories, it's going to be the most extreme thing.
Yeah.
So, and it's harder to be like, when someone just comes to you telling you their story, it's a lot easier versus publicly being like, hey, I'm confident some of you have endometriosis. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just really nice and helpful and thoughtful that someone messaged us their experience with endometriosis and, like, just so many details. So helpful.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you so much.
We love you.
Thanks. Every time y'all write in, it makes our entire day.
It's true.
We love you.
We love you. Before
email us.
Yeah, email us.
hoelyhourpodcast@gmail.com. At the Holy Hour on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We love you.
Children.
Oh my God.
What was that?
My watch. Sorry. We love you. Our children.
That scared me.
It scared me too. It vibrated when it talked.